If you have comments or suggestions regarding this publication, please send them to the Department of Motor Vehicles, Customer Communications Section, MSH165, P.O. Box 932345, Sacramento, California, 94232-3450. The DMV office hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. Wednesdays, 9 to 5 p.m. The DMV tends to be closed on Saturdays and Sunday. However, some select DMV locations will have extended hours and perhaps will be open on Saturdays. Some offices have limited services as well for driver's licenses, ID, registrations, things like that. So understand, on Saturday, you cannot take the behind the wheel exam. For more information about hours, extended hours, locations, go to www.dmv.ca.gov, or you can call 1-800-777-0133. Also on the internet at www.dmv.ca.gov. To look for any other field offices around you, directions, phone numbers, forms for your permit. If you want to make an appointment to visit a field office or to take a driver's test, remember, business driver's tests are different. You need to do an electronic application. For any other field office locations, hours, directions, phone numbers, accepted forms of payment, checks, credit cards, or so on, or you want to make an appointment to visit a field office or to take a driver's test, remember, the business test is different. You can do an electronic driver's license or apply for an ID card. You need the form. If you want to change your address with the DMV, you want to order a personal driver's license placard, you can do that online. Vehicle registration, you can find that information there. Download the forms, print them out. Maybe the handbook, a brochure, a practice test, other driver information, teen driver information, student driver information, information about other federal agencies, or you want to get a new driver's license or new registration, all of that can be done online. Call 1-800-777-0123 during normal business hours. If you need any information or you need any registration information, any forms, which ones to print, you can find that all online. You can make driver's test appointments. You can chat with a DMV representative, or they will call you back. So go ahead and call 1-800-777-0133. Online services are 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Also, you can renew your license. However, you must have your renewal ID number ready. They will send that to you in the mail. You can also pay with a credit card or an e-check. You can also make an appointment to visit a field office. It's very important that you have your driver's license or ID number and your VIN number. It's a vehicle identification number, a VIN number. For people who are deaf and hard of hearing, or people who have a hard time speaking clearly, they can call 1-800-368-4387 for assistance. It's only typed messages for like a TTY, but they will get that and they will respond. This handbook provides a summary of the laws and regulations outlined in the California Vehicle Code, CVC, the Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, law enforcement, and the courts follow the full and exact language of the CVC. You can view the CVC at legalinfo.legislature.ca.gov or purchase a CVC book at any DMV field office. The CVC and DMV fees are available online at www.dmv.ca.gov. Fees listed in the California Driver Handbook are subject to change. This handbook is primarily for a basic C-class driver's license. For detailed information on other driver's license types and endorsements, refer to the various California DMV handbooks, the California Commercial Driver Handbook, Recreational Vehicles and Trailers Handbook, Ambulance Driver's Handbook, California Parent Teen Guide, and the California Motorcycle Handbook. DMV is a state-level government agency who has two primary functions. They are to license California drivers and register vehicles within the state. However, the DMV also maintains and oversees many other functions. The DMV's vision is to be a trusted leader in delivering innovative services. This vision is supported by the DMV's mission to proudly serve the public by licensing drivers, registering vehicles, securing identities, and regulating the motor vehicle industry. The reliability, integrity, and confidentiality of all California driver's license and ID cards are the prime concern to all levels of government, the private sector, and the general public. It is critical that these documents be completely authenticated and accurate. California law requires that all customers who apply for an original California driver's license, ID card, or real ID card, a complaint ID or driver's license card, they must submit acceptable documents establishing their identity, Social Security card number, if eligible, and 2 California residency documents. Your true full name, as shown on your identity document, will appear on your driver's license. A California driver's license shows that you have been given permission by the state to drive on public roadways. You may apply for a driver's license at most DMV field offices. Refer to page VIII. After you complete your application for a driver's license, pay the fee, pass all your knowledge tests, show that your physical and mental condition is satisfactory, and also demonstrate your ability to drive safely, a license may be issued and mailed to you. If you have a medical condition or a disability, the DMV may require you to take a driving test. You may also have to provide a statement from your physician regarding your current health condition. It is a misdemeanor in California to drive with an expired license. If you do, you can be cited. Your vehicle can be impounded, and you may have to appear in court. California residents who drive on public highways or use parking facilities that are open to the public must have a driver's license unless they are an officer or employee of the United States government operating a vehicle owned or controlled by the U.S. government on federal business, except when operating a commercial motor vehicle. Driving or operating implements of husbandry not operated or moved over a highway. Driving or operating off-highway vehicles to cross a highway. If you are out of state on active military duty and have a valid California driver's license, and your spouse's California driver's license will be valid for the full time that you are absent from California and for 30 days after your discharge date if you are honorably discharged outside of California. Carry both your driver's license and your discharge or separation documents during those 30 days. Section 12817. You can call 1-800-777-0133 to obtain an extension of a license for a person in the armed forces. DL 236 card, which extends your California driver's license. Note that your driver's license is not valid if it's suspended, canceled, or revoked. If you are 18 years or older, refer to the California Residents and Adults Visiting California sections in this handbook for additional information. Licensees eligible for military extensions should carry documentation from their home state to verify their status to law enforcement. When you become a California resident and you want to drive in California, you must apply for a driver's license within 10 days. Residency is established in a variety of ways, including the following: being registered to vote in California elections, paying resident tuition at a California or community college, filing for homeowners' property tax exemption, receiving any other privilege or benefit not ordinarily extended to non-residents. That will qualify you to become a California resident. Visitors over the age of 18 years old with a valid driver's license from their home state or country may drive in California without getting a California driver's license as long as their home state or country state ID is valid. The DMV has a handbook specifically for senior drivers. Visit dmv.ca.gov to view or download the Senior Guide for Safe Driving. DL625. Call 1-800-777-0133 to request a copy to be mailed, or go to a local DMV field office or contact the Senior Drivers Ombudsman program in your area. Here's the phone number for several counties. Los Angeles and Central Coast counties, 310-615-3552. Sacramento and Northern California counties, 916-657-6464. Orange County and San Diego counties, 714-705-1588. San Francisco, Oakland, or the Bay Areas, 510-563-8998. When you apply for an original California driver's license, you must present acceptable documents establishing your identity, your birth date, residency, and provide your Social Security number if eligible. When a document is required, with the exception of proof of residency, adhere to the following requirements. Provide a certified copy or an unexpired original document. Provide a document containing an impressed seal or an original stamped impression, if applicable. Do not provide a photocopy. A photocopy is acceptable for residency documents. Do not present self-laminated cards or documents. However, the DMV may accept laminated or metal Social Security cards. If you present a limited term identity document, your driver's license or ID card may expire on the same date as your identity document. If the name on your document is different than the name on your driver's license and ID card application, you must also bring an acceptable true full name document. Your fingerprint signature and photograph will be taken. Please refer to the application requirements for a basic Class C license. Examples of acceptable identity documents are a United States birth certificate, a United States passport, a United States Armed Forces ID card, certificate of naturalization, permanent residence card, or a foreign passport with a valid I-94. The I-94 expiration date must be more than 2 months from the date you visited the field office. Examples of true full name verification documents include adoption documents containing your legal name as a result of the adoption, name change documents containing your legal name both before and after marriage certificate, certificate of registration document verifying the formation of a domestic partnership or a dissolution of marriage, domestic partnership document containing your legal name as a result of the court order. Examples of acceptable residency documents include a home utility bill, including cell phone, insurance documents, California title or registration for a vehicle or vessel or record from a financial institution. A parent, legal guardian, or child may use a birth certificate and a spouse or domestic partner may use a marriage certificate or domestic partner registration certificate to connect their relationship to the individual to whom the acceptable residency documents were addressed. A complete list of acceptable documents are available at dmv.ca.gov. Beginning October 1st, 2020, the federal government will require your ID or driver's license to be a real ID compliant. If you wish to use the ID to board an airplane, for a domestic flight, or enter military bases and most federal facilities. If you have a U.S. passport, passport card, military ID, or another form of Transportation Security Administration approved ID, these documents will still be accepted to board an airplane. The Federal Real ID Act of 2005 was passed in response to the events of 9/11. For more on the Real ID Act, visit the Department of Homeland Security website at www.dhs.gov. The Real ID compliant driver's license and ID card is optional. If you have a valid U.S. passport, passport card, military ID, or other federally approved ID, you may use this as your form of ID to pass TSA checkpoints at airports nationwide and visit a secure federal building or military installation at any time. If you know you will not be boarding a domestic flight or visiting a secure federal facility or military base, you do not need a Real ID compliant driver's license or ID card. You do not need a Real ID compliant driver's license or ID card to do any of the following: drive, vote, apply for or receive federal benefits such as Veterans Affairs, Social Security Administration, etc. Enter a facility that does not require an ID, for example, a post office. Visit a hospital or receive life-saving services. To apply for a Real ID card, you must do the following: provide proof of identity, provide 2 California residency documents, present proof of your Social Security number if eligible. Note, you can request a replacement Social Security card online at www.ssa.gov. Also, please refer to the DMV website for a complete list of acceptable Real ID compliant documents. You may need to provide a name change document. Name change documents such as a marriage certificate, you may need to provide a name change document. A name change document such as a marriage certification may be required to issue a Real ID compliant driver's license or ID card in your true full name. If the name on your identity document is different from the name you provided on your application, you must submit a document that establishes your real true name. For example, adoption document that contains legal name as a result of adoption, name change document that contains both the legal name both before and after the name change, marriage certificate certificate of declaration or registration document verifying the information of a domestic partnership, dissolution of marriage, or domestic partnership document that contains legal name as a result of the court action. To apply for a Class C driver's license, you must submit a completed and signed driver's license ID card application, DL44/DL44 form. The EDL44 can be completed online in advance. Signing this form means that you agree to submit to a chemical test to determine the alcohol or drug content of your blood when requested by a peace officer. If you refuse to sign this statement, the DMV will not issue a driver's license or permit. Present an acceptable document establishing your identity and birth date. Provide your true full name. Present an acceptable residency document. Provide your social security number if eligible, which will be electronically verified with the SSA. Pay a non-refundable application fee. This fee is good for 12 months. If all requirements are not met within 12 months, the application will no longer be valid and you must reapply. This allows you 3 attempts to pass each of the required knowledge tests. If you fail the knowledge test 3 times, the application is no longer valid and you must reapply. It allows 3 attempts at the driving test. Important. If you fail the driver's test, you must pay a retest fee for subsequent tests and schedule the driving test for another day. If you fail the driving tests 3 times, the application will no longer be valid and you must reapply. Pass a vision test with or without corrective lenses with visual accuracy better than 2200 in at least one eye without the use of a bioptic telescope lens or similar bioptic device to meet the minimum vision standards. That's CVC section 12805B. Also, have your photograph taken, give a fingerprint scan, and sign your name. If you are at least 18 years old and you meet the application requirements, pass the required tests, you may be issued a California instruction permit. You may have an instruction permit while learning to drive. Your accompanied driver must be 18 years old and have a valid California driver's license. This person must be seated close enough to take control of the vehicle at any time. An instruction permit does not permit you to drive alone, not even at the DMV field office to take the driving test. If you want to obtain professional driver education training, refer to the driving schools and mature driver program sections on pages 23 and 24. To get a motorcycle permit, you must complete the application requirements, submit a certificate of completion of the motorcycle driver's training, DL389 form, if you're under 21 years old. You also must pass a knowledge test. If you have a motorcycle permit, you cannot carry passengers, must ride during daylight hours, and cannot ride on the freeway. If you are at least 18 years old and have never been licensed you must meet the following criteria. Comply with the requirements for a driving permit. When you are ready, make an appointment to take the behind-the-wheel driving test. When you report for the driving test, bring your instruction permit with you. Pass the behind-the-wheel test. If you fail the test, you must pay for a retest fee for a second or subsequent test and schedule a behind-the-wheel driving test for another day. If you have an out-of-state driver's license, you must complete all the steps required for an instruction permit. Bring your out-of-state driver's license to the DMV. Your out-of-state driver's license will be invalidated and returned to you unless you are applying for a commercial driver's license, a CDL. Note: the behind-the-wheel driving test for holders of out-of-state or U.S. territory driver's license are normally not waived. However, the DMV may require a behind-the-wheel driving test for any type of driver's license application. Behind-the-wheel driver's tests are mandatory for out-of-country driver's license holders. You may drive a 2-axle vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, of 26,000 pounds or less. 3-axle vehicle weighing 6,000 pounds or less gross. House car 40 feet or less in length. 3-wheel motorcycle with 2 wheels located in the front or back. A van pool designated to carry more than 10 passengers but no more than 15 passengers, including the driver. Note: a driver of a van pool may operate with a Class C license, but shall possess evidence of a medical examination required for a Class B license when operating van pool vehicles. In the van pool vehicle, the driver must keep a statement signed under the penalty of perjury that they have not been convicted of reckless driving, drunk driving, or hit and run in the last 5 years. CVC Section 12804.9J. You may tow a single vehicle with a GVWR of 10,000 pounds or less, including a tow dolly if used. With a vehicle that's weighing 4,000 pounds or more unladen, you must tow a trailer coach or fifth wheel travel trailer under 10,000 pounds GVWR when towing is not for compensation. A fifth wheel travel trailer exceeding 10,000 pounds but under 15,000 pounds GVWR when towing is not for compensation and with endorsement. A former employee of a farmer may drive any combination of vehicles, GVRW, of 26,000 pounds or less if used exclusively in agricultural operations and not for hire or compensation. Note: Class C licenses may not tow more than one vehicle. A passenger vehicle, regardless of weight, may not tow more than one vehicle. A motor vehicle under 4,000 pounds, unladen weight, may not tow any vehicle weighing 6,000 pounds or more gross. CVC Section 21715B. Other classes of driver's licenses or endorsements are non-commercial Class A, non-commercial Class B, commercial Class A, commercial Class B, commercial Class C, motorcycle Class M1, motorcycle Class M2, commercial endorsements, doubles, triples, hazardous materials, passenger transportation, tank vehicle, ambulance driver certificate, school bus endorsement, tow truck driver certificate, verification of transit training certificate, farm labor vehicle certificate, firefighting endorsement. Note, commercially licensed firefighters must submit a medical examination report, the MER, from MCSA 5875 and medical examiner's certificate, the MEC, form MCSA 5876. Non-commercially licensed firefighters may submit self-certifying health questionnaire DL 546.